Welcome to today's video, friend. Today, we're going to be talking about the Focus 4. These are the only 4 things that you need to be focused on in your online business that actually move the needle, that actually grow you, that get you more clients, that get you more leads. And we are going to be walking through what those things are and how specifically you are going to focus on them over the next 6 to 12 months. So Focus 4, if you're ready, let's do it. Get that notebook and pen and let's dive in. By the way, hi, I'm Stephanie Gass. If you're new here, I am a Christian and podcasting coach, and I cannot wait to serve you every week with this channel. If you haven't, be sure that you subscribe, like this video, and turn on that notification bell so that you don't miss any free trainings that we put here for you every single week. Are you ready to grow your online business, make consistent income, start a successful podcast? Welcome to Online Business for Christian Women with Stephanie Gass. It's time to grow, girl. All right, guys, we're going to talk about the Focus 4 today. How do we stop doing all the crud that doesn't actually matter and start doing only 4 things extraordinarily well until, and the big question in the room, until what? So we got to figure out that until what for you. For me, it was until my podcast had hit 1 million downloads and I was making 6 figures in consistent income. Those were my 4 whats. So you determine for you, what is the goal, the tangible, touchable, realistic, yet stretch goal? So there's, a fine line. What's that thing you're really after? When you get so clear in your mind about what that thing is you're really after that you can put your finger on it, it's usually monetary or a download number, and these are not just vanity metrics. It's like when I hit that thing, my life changes. Or when I hit that thing, I can hire a team member. Or when I hit that thing, we can pay off our house, right? There's got to be a why attached to it, of course. You guys have done the why exercises. You know the meaning and the importance of like having a reason behind a goal. So I'm not going to go into that with you today, but want you to get that until what thing and write it down, okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do our Focus 4. We're going to specifically zone in on these 4 things until we hit that goal. Once you hit that goal, you have a little more freedom where we can add one more, I'll talk to you about it in a little bit, one more method or one more offer, okay? But for right now, we've got to stop doing so much. The reason you're not growing is that you're diluting your efforts. And because your efforts are diluted, you are now diluting the potency in which your audience wants to be poured into. When we show up everywhere, we basically don't serve our particular niche really well. So maybe that will land for you. It's like, I'm going to write a best-selling book, okay? So let me start that. But, I really want to write a best-selling book. Maybe I should also go star in movies. So let me go apply to be an extra in this movie that's in town. And then, because those things aren't actually making money, let me get a new corporate job in the midst. And now you're so distracted with all the noise of getting a new job and going to the audition that you forgot that your true, real goal that you had in your heart was to become a best-selling author, and you haven't even written the book. You've not even worked on it in weeks. That's what's happening with you. We're doing too many weird random things that we think help us get to this goal. But in reality, we've got to simplify and streamline so that we can scale. And I've said that before, and I will just continue to say it over and over again until you guys hear me. And there are really only 4 really specific things that we need to be doing, okay? So let's begin. Number 1, the very first thing that we need to be doing is serving with long form. Number 1. So remember the goal. Let's say that your goal was, I want to hit 50,000 podcast downloads, because when that thing happens, I'm able to be featured in Forbes or have enough clout to write my book. Let's just pretend that that's the goal. Okay. So if that's the goal, the very first thing that you must do is be producing consistent long form content. Now, pick your long form. We've talked about this before. It's either video, podcasting, or blogging. I choose podcasting all day long. It is it. It's faster, easier, the lowest amount of overhead, the biggest return for your time, and no shelf life, and the least saturated, and you don't have to do your makeup, because that is annoying. So podcasting is life, right? So we've got to be focused on consistent podcasting. To put this into like nuts and bolts for you, that is 1 podcast every single week over and 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 over until you hit your 50K or whatever that magical goal is for you, right? For me, I was podcasting every single week. I did 2 a week. You can totally do 2 a week if you're going to commit with me to the Focus 4 only. I don't want you doing 2 a week and starting a YouTube channel and starting a Pinterest. Like, we're going to stack these other methods of growth in the future, but we've got to start with the Focus 4 in order to actually gain some traction faster. We've got to hone it in to grow bigger. Okay. So that's the very first thing you have to do. And if you're struggling with like, well, what is my content? What am I going to talk about? All of those pieces, I want you guys to come and join me in Podcast Profit, because that's literally what we do in there is we work together to do the refining, fix the title, fix your keywords, come up with your content strategy. I want you to imagine never wondering what you're going to talk about again in your podcast, because you have a list of titles that are highly converting and highly demanded, and all you do is sit down and pick one, because everything that we've curated and created has been vetted by your market research. Your person has asked for it. And so that's the thing we build, because if we don't build the thing that they want, they're never going to buy the offer from you, right? So number one focus, consistent long form. Yep. Second focus, your second focus is we have to have a targeted offer. Targeted offer. So this looks like not a $7 tiny offer and a $5,000 high ticket, and then maybe I should do a $30,000 mastermind, and I'll just do a $9 ebook because I don't really know what's going to sell. Y'all, like, throwing a bunch of random offers at the wall is not serving anyone well. Most of all, it's not serving you well. I once threw a small offer out into the world. It was a $67 plan your podcast offer. That thing sold like crazy, even if I sold 100 of them. Oh, wow, that sounds like a lot of money. But here's the problem. The people that bought the small offer, they did not ascend. They were not buying the actual core offer that I had at the time, which is my podcasting course. It was how to start a podcast. Nobody bought it. And it was because I was actually diminishing the offer that I really needed them to do, because I was scared of the price. I was afraid that my people weren't going to purchase. And I ended up hurting myself and undercutting my people by giving them this small offer. I then ended up building some weird big random offer once that was completely incorrect for my audience, because I just thought maybe I should do that because other people are doing that, right? You've got to get super clear on like, what is the offer my people actually need? And then you need to be really honest with yourself about where you are. If you have less than 250 super fans, my students are very familiar with that phrase, but it's the people that are consistently following you. Basically, they're listening to every episode, they're opening your emails, those core consistent followers in essence, or audience members. If you have under 250, highly encourage you to start with coaching. Highly encourage you. Coaching is your fastest way to a scalable revenue when you're small. The other thing that I teach in Podcast to Profit is how to build a course or a group coaching offer, because those are my favorite online business methods of making income. They are highly profitable. 2 of them are 100% scalable, and I'm obsessed. So you've got to figure out, what's my one offer that my people are desperately needing from me right now, and eliminate everything else. You've got to position it correctly. It's got to be titled solution focused. You have to know how to sell it. You have to know what is the outcome of this product. You have to know how much time it saves people. You need to know what to put inside of it. You need to know how to build it. And all of those pieces are handed to you in Podcast to Profit. I give you a play-by-play, step-by-step. Click here, drag here. Here's a beautiful template of how you build your course. I give you the coaching framework. Here's what you say. Here's how we build a checkout page. Here's what we put on all of our sales pages. No more confusion on this piece, because we have to have an offer that's not just willy-nilly. It's very, very strategic for your person, what they're dealing with, what they're going through, and it's priced at that perfect price point where you actually start to move the needle in your business, right? For those of you like, I have a $9 or a $7 offer, like how many human beings would you need at that price point to actually leave your job? Versus, thinking we're Oprah and charging 10K. Like, no offense, you guys. I've done all of it. But I have learned after coaching thousands of people through this exact Focus 4 method, in order to really create a profitable podcast in less time, that there is a sweet spot. and it is very specific. So you got to do that. That's your second focus. Build one core offer that's very aligned with what your person is asking you for. Okay. The third focus is your messaging. Okay. You've got to really clean up your marketing and messaging. And this looks like getting into the weeds with your people, asking questions of them, nurturing your audience, which includes a Facebook community or a community of some kind, and sending weekly emails to your people. This is such a critical piece of conversion. We've got to nurture. Leads don't just come in the door and decide to buy anymore. They need to be loved on, nurtured, seen. They need to be helped. They need to be taught something of value so that they can trust you. They also need to laugh with you and know you're real, hear stories from you, right? All of those pieces come with your messaging and your marketing. So that's the third thing you're really focused on right now is, what are my people saying? One of the things that I often do is I comb through my Facebook communities. I have a free group. This is the link to come and join our free Facebook community at stephgasscommunity.com. I comb through the different boot camps that we do and things like that. And I take a look at like, what are the biggest keywords that you guys are using? I actually did it this morning and I can tell you. The number one keyword that you guys were using is client, as in get more clients, how to find clients, where to find clients. The next thing you said was time. I need more time. I have no time. I got to have the time. The next thing you said was starting, where to start, how to start. Then you said money, need to make money, consistent money, how to make money, not making money. So I am literally combing through all of the words that my people say on a weekly basis so that I can create content that's so specific to you and I can give you the tools that you need to be successful. And if you notice, I'm speaking to you about the problems that you're having right now in your business. That's marketing and messaging, okay? So your customer is your best copywriter. Stop talking about the things you think they want and stop talking about the random topics that you see other people talking about. Get deep with your people and start creating content that they are asking you for. That is going to grow your podcast and it's going to sell your offers without you even meaning to. All right, your fourth focus is getting more leads by doing less. That's right. Get more leads by doing less. The beginning of this fourth focus begins with a love it or leave it list, where you are going to map out every single thing that you're doing in your business. And if you don't love it, it goes in the leave it side, and we're going to stop doing it right now. Remember that until goal that you have? We aren't going to do anything other than these 4 things I've talked about today until we hit that goal. So all these other things can go in a little parking lot right now, and you can pick them up later when you've hit your goal, okay? This might look like actively posting on Instagram. That's what it looked like for me. It may look like getting off of TikTok. So you got to do your love it, leave it list. And then we have to be able to focus on getting more leads by doing less. This looks like building out basically this funnel of places that point right back to your podcast. It's not creating more content. It's creating little arrows that point back to the content. This for us is Pinterest marketing that drives back to the podcast. For us, this is YouTube Shorts that drive back to the podcast. This might look like posting in our groups or emailing my list and pointing back to the podcast. We're going to grow leads by doing less. It's not new stuff. It's not more content that y'all need. It's one core piece of quality content on your podcast every week, and then some little arrows that come from all the different places that you might be and that you might want to be on. Remember the love it list and the leave it list, and they point right back to that one place. So all of that is what you're going to be focused on until you hit the goal. Now, how long does it take to hit the goal? I don't know. It depends on how big and juicy your goal is. For me, when I pared it down to this particular focus 4, I was able to hit my 1 million downloads a few years into podcasting. I was able to pass 100K in revenue within 1 year of podcasting. Then I was able to add my next offer or my next long form. But it was almost like this enticing, fun thing for me to go, you are not going to dilute your audience until you hit these goals in the focus 4. And that gave me such a clear marching order, so to speak, of like, what am I doing today? If it doesn't align in these 4 things, I'm not doing it. Consistent long form, which was podcasting every week, building that signature core offer with strategy in mind, learning my marketing and messaging inside and out, and then focusing on getting more leads into the funnel by sharing and by using that strategic that strategic formula that is in Podcast to Profit, but that I also shared with you here today about how to point back to that one core piece of messaging that you build every week, your podcast is where the conversion is going to happen, right? And then bonus tip, last but not least, inside of the Get More Leads, which is your fourth focus, it's building urgency offers. So how do we get leads? Sometimes leads come straight from the show, and sometimes leads need to come in through something like a workshop or a boot camp. Those are other places that we get leads because it's almost like an infusion of connection with your person. It's where we show up with intensity for a small amount of time, whether 1 day or 4 days, 5 days. I teach that in Podcast to Profit. You want to have an amazing urgency offer like a flash sale or a live launch. I teach you that. I give you my live launch framework. I give you my flash sale framework, and you can just plug that in and run with it in your own business. That's a great thing to focus on as well, to get those leads that turn into clients so much more quickly than having to do a bunch of discovery calls. I literally don't do like free discovery calls. I only had to do that for maybe a month or two, 6 years ago. You don't have to do that. You can sell in a much easier way, but you just got to know how. So if you've loved this video and you know those focus for something that really is speaking to your heart right now, come check out Podcast to Profit, my group coaching program. All the details can be found at podcasttoprofitmastermind.com. That is podcasttoprofitmastermind.com. I'll see you back here again next week for another video. Bye. Hey guys, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure that you like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell for more videos just like this so you don't miss it. Lastly, if you haven't checked out my podcast, it is Online Business for Christian Women. Anywhere that you listen to podcasts, you can also just look up my name, Stephanie Gass. Thanks for being here. I'll see you again soon. Bye.